Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Supergirl Season 2, Episode 1. It's called The Adventures of Supergirl. Full spoilers for the episode will follow. First of all, really nice title.
Yep.
Um, Happy to have this show back. It's such a ray of sunshine in a cynical world that I welcome it greatly.
Also gives me an excuse to have a weekly dose of eating donuts. So
Yes,
there's that.
yes. If you're new to Supergirl, if you binge watched over the break, and you're just sort of coming back in now, Melissa Benoist is known for eating donuts on set, and it even sort of spread into the show a little bit with some donut
Yeah,
references.
you'll have noticed towards the end it kind of got in there.
Yeah. So, Superman.
Yeah. Where else do we start?
Yeah. So this is where we start. So he was pretty damn great. I mean, I don't think he's the perfect actor to play Superman.
Maybe not, but he did a far better job than I think anyone was expecting when he was cast.
Probably. But I think for me, it's just a case of he is written to be like Superman. So, and he does a not bad job as an actor. So as a result, we have a pretty good version of Superman. Certainly much better than the movies are giving us right now.
Best Superman we've seen in years.
Yeah. So, now I thought he was good. There was a lot of fun stuff, a lot of good running jokes with him as well.
Mm.
The way everyone acted around him. You know, when he came in, and the DEO just all
Just
stop.
silent.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just all stop and look.
And I think one of my favorite moments there as well when he just kind of goes over and starts greeting them and is like, hi, how you all doing?
Yeah, yeah. And then Alex saying that he smells great to Kara, and Kara's been like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
In fact, actually, even before that, what probably the biggest laugh I actually got, at least from him directly, was Kara telling like, after they saved the plane or
Family.
the jet, and
Yeah.
the land in front of the family, and she's like, "I used to change his diapers." It's like, you don't have to tell him that. It's like, yeah, I really do.
That's very good.
Kat's like demeanor around him, the way she changed completely.
Yeah, it's he has sway.
Yeah, he has sway.
It's the way he mouths it after as well when they're walking off. He just turns around and goes, sway.
Yeah. Oh, also, he accidentally cracks a threesome joke about Lois, Superman, and him,
Yep.
which
Yep.
everyone giggles at. It's actually kind of funny seeing Kara giggle at such a rude, you
It
know,
is, isn't it?
a rude joke. Yeah, it was deeply amusing. So all the Superman stuff was a lot of fun. Also, I said that was the biggest laugh. I might be lying though. The biggest laugh, not from him admittedly, but the biggest laugh of the episode was probably Supergirl saves the family by. Oh no, it was Superman. It was Superman.
Superman, yeah.
Yeah, I'm confusing things because Supergirl at one point does like block some debris from hitting a family. There's a
No, she
lot.
blocks it from hitting James.
Was it James? He's got the
Yeah,
woman
he's
with him.
he's run to pick up the woman. Yeah,
There's a lot of saving people in this episode.
there is a lot.
I'm mixing them all up. But yeah, Superman saves family from the drone, and the dad just then turns around and goes, "Yeah, we're moving back to Gotham."
That cracked me right up.
That was a proper good joke. That was a proper good joke. So yeah, so we've got across. The episode is fun. There's a lot of funny stuff. There's a lot of good humor, and all of that's just as great as it ever was. Maybe even better. Wynn has just been transitioned into working for the DEO, like
Yeah,
almost without like. It's almost arguable that it's just too quick how they've done this. Where
yeah.
I don't even think they mention at the other job at Catco that he's not there anymore. Or
He does because at the end he was like, "Oh, one thing, I did have an IRA
no, no,
over
no, no,
there."
no, no. He mentions it once he's transitioned, but I mean that
Oh,
like.
beforehand.
But Cat never mentions that he's not there. No one seems to like.
That's true.
It's just everyone just sort of is like, oh yeah, he's not here now. No one
Yeah,
mentions it. It's just
but
the
would
case.
Cat notice?
True, true. Maybe that's what it's happened. It's put us in the head of Cat Grant. And
Yeah,
speaking of Cat, her new assistant is called Miss Tessmacher.
yeah. It took me a while. I was like, "Where do I know that name from?" And then it clicked. I was
Hey,
like,
that is not the only reference to Superman the movie.
It is not. There was a few.
Because when flat out says something about the earthquake in California, that is the plot of Superman.
Yeah. There was also with the helicopter. with Lena Luthor. She goes, "Oh, I know it's statistically the safest way to travel."
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of little Superman the movie references in this one, which is funny because obviously Superman's in the episode, but it's not that Superman. But in a weird way, they're kind of like
It kind of is that Superman, though, isn't it?
it. Kind of they're kind of saying, yeah, that's kind of in continuity with this, but just our own version of it. But that those general events still happen. Sure, Jimmy got tall and black, but for the most
Yeah,
part, this kind of syncs up. And so yeah, and also they gave us a little excuse as to why he was so young when he's meant to be like over a decade older than Kara.
yeah. It's something you just gotta go with. But I'm surprised they addressed it at all.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though because it means what does Lois look like she's in her 40s then?
It's a good point.
I mean, Kat. I mean, not to diminish Kat's age, but you know, she's flirting with him, and she's clearly a lot older than the actor.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so no, lots of references, lots of fun. Lena Luthor, we mentioned her. We should talk about how we feel about Lena Luthor. All I could think the entire time she was on screen was her pterodactyl death from Jurassic World, because that's what I know her from. That is the only thing I know that actress from.
Apparently, she was in Merlin.
I'll
That's like her bigger role.
I'll take your word for it, but I know her getting eaten in a very vicious way in a dinosaur movie.
She was one of the main characters in that, so that's kind of like a bigger role that more people will probably know her from.
It's funny though, between her and Superman, there's so much references to other Superman things. Like Lex is mentioned, Lex Corp is mentioned. We never even heard Lex Corp all of season one, and it's the sort of thing they could have casually referenced at some point.
Yeah, it was.
So we'll get Lex Corp, which is getting changed to L Corp because Lex Luthor's in prison, which is kind of fun because it's kind of like, yeah, most of the main Superman stories have already happened, just like before
Yeah.
the show existed, and Lex is in prison and so on. But we've got Lena. They mention Lois repeatedly. You know,
Yeah.
it's lots of Superman mythos just sort of spread throughout.
It does feel like while it's still Supergirl's show, it feels like, no, this is as close to a Superman show as we're ever going to get at the minute as well.
At the minute, we've had several before.
No, I said at the minute.
Yeah.
Because you know what Warner Bros. Are like right now.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they let them do this is kind of
It's staggering, yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
Given that they were apparently not allowed to use the Suicide Squad on Arrow,
Yeah.
this is astonishing.
But maybe they're just thinking, oh, it's such a different version that no one will even be confused.
That is true.
That's what they're thinking. Luckily, Zack Snyder screwed up movie Superman so much that this just, went by without a moment's pause.
Yeah.
But no, so all that stuff's great. Lena, I do think I like her in of herself. I do think it's a little bit weird that everyone was just completely okay with her shooting the guy.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
he was trying to kill her.
well,
but-
don't get me wrong. When I say it surprises me that everyone's just okay with it, I don't necessarily mean from a moral perspective, because had Alex shot him in that scene, I wouldn't have thought about it, because she's
Yeah.
an agent and she's there to take care of the threat. But it's the fact that she pulls out her own personal gun and shoots him in the back that just feels a bit more,
Yeah. Yeah,
evil.
I get that.
yeah, I guess.
I mean, I'm sure she's going to be evil, right, at some point.
Yeah, obviously they're building the fact that Kara kind of trusts her, or she's not trust her yet, but she's willing.
Yeah.
She's more
Yeah.
leaning towards trusting her than. Whereas Superman almost sounds like a racist, like I don't trust anyone with the name of Luthor.
That's the thing, and that's what we're like. And it's like, I feel like the show's playing on that. It's like, sure, we can't trust her because she's a Luthor, but maybe she's gonna be good just to avoid that. But then, why have a Luthor if you're not gonna have him evil?
It would almost be more interesting, but at the same time, we do have Maxwell Lord, who is essentially her Lex Luthor, so
We do.
you could go either way on it. What do we think? So a big plot of the episode is that Kara's deciding what her new job is, because Kat, end of last season, gave her this carte blanche. I said Cat Blanche, funny. Carte blanche. Carte blanche to just pick what her new role was, which is kind of weird for a boss to do. But Kara, over the course of the episode, and you can see it coming, of course, like, when Lena has her line about, oh, you could have fooled me about you not being a
Yeah.
reporter, and she decides she's going to be a reporter. How do we feel about that? Because she already has her Lex Luthor. She now has her Lady Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
She has her version of the Daily Planet. She has all this. Now she's actually a reporter. She is now legitimately female Superman.
Yeah, I'm torn because it's kind of like, well, okay, this show's always kind of played with the idea that this is basically just female Superman for a lot of it, but you know, could have done something to set her apart, I guess.
Yeah, I think I have a slight problem with it just because it is just exactly what he does.
Yeah,
And we could have used her having a slightly different role. I think having her at a magazine sort of style company was probably close enough. At the same time, though, I don't think it's going to be a problem episode
no,
to episode. I don't think it's going to like. I'm sure her interacting with people and all that, and everything she'll do when she's doing it, I'm sure will be fine. It's just the core concept of it at the start. I'm like, I don't kind
I
of
mean,
wish
at
they
the
done.
same time, but I can get why she would do it. Like, she kind of like looks up to Clark. She's like, yeah, I'm
Eh.
gonna do what he does, sort of thing. Because she's kind of already done that in the Supergirl stuff. Like, I'm gonna do what he does.
Oh yeah, of
But
course. She's put on
so
a
it's
similar outfit. She's
yeah. So I can kind of see it in working in context like that.
Also, it warmed my heart actually. See when after they saved the jet near the start, and they both land in front of the family, and Kara turns to him and goes, "I usually stop and say hi." He's like, "So do I." It just
Yeah,
warms my heart. Just
yeah. Just like, oh, just getting it right.
of course the big cliffhanger from season one, the ship, which they actually added extra stuff into, like because in the season one finale, it was like they just flew out and landed next to where it crashed, whereas here we
Yeah.
got like a scene of it like crashing into scaffolding and them saving
Speaking
people.
of, I thought the CG was a little bit wonky in that scene.
It was. I feel like part of the reason for that maybe because there was so much of it in this episode. There was a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot.
There was the big jet scene. There was a helicopter scene. There was holding up the building scene because I thought that looked a little bit ropey as well.
Yeah, but I feel like it looked worst here at the start. You know where the window cleaning thing and the guy it falls.
Yeah,
That looked awful.
yeah, yeah. It was hit and miss. Whereas the jet, for the most part, looked quite good. I feel like they just picked the spots because they had so much of it in this episode. They had to.
Yeah, and I'm hoping going forward it's all right.
I'm not too fussed about effects not being great anyway. It's
No, I know. It's just it felt like a little
yeah.
bit of a step down considering they were better than this before.
It's just one of those things where like when we moved to the CW, we knew that there was a chance the effects might take a little bit of a hit because even though the Flash typically does a good job, it doesn't have quite the same level of things it has to do, and he gets away with a lot because he's moving at super speed. You can kind of cheat with just blurred things.
Yeah,
You know, it's
the
easier.
go-to thing is obviously
Yeah,
the shark.
exactly.
For
Yeah, and
that.
that looked great. Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
there was certainly enough in this episode to say that Supergirl will have effects like that are as good as that, but.
yeah. Like Martian Manhunter still looks fantastic, and you know like the transition, it feels smoother as well now.
I do think his effects in that first scene that you talked about were a little bit wonkier, but the transition was
The
better.
transition, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it was when they were flying in motion. He looked a bit weird, but you know when they stopped in at the end and they were on the building, he looked fine there.
Yeah, yeah. Also, back to that, we're jumping around a lot because I'm scattershot. My head's just scattershot with this. But
Yeah.
the scene where Wynn like meets Superman and he's like, "Oh, I've got so much I want to ask," you know, California earthquake and all that. It really made me think back to like episode 4 or 5 last year when he accidentally, or when Jimmy and Kara accidentally said Clark when they were talking about him, and he was like, "Clark Kent is Superman." Like, I really wanted a scene with Wynn and Clark, like as Clark.
I'm sure we'll get it.
Yeah, we probably will because we know Superman's around next episode, so
Yeah.
it should be fun. So yeah, the cliffhanger we had the ship. See, I told you, scattershot. Mon-El, or at least
It's just pure
Yeah.
excitement at this point. Sorry.
they don't know it's Mon-El yet, but they know it's a Kryptonian.
Yeah. I just assumed this has got to be Mon-El, right?
It has. I think it's the actor they cast as him.
Well, I didn't see the actor that they cast, so I was just like, well,
I
context
can't
tells me.
remember. I can't remember who it is. I just vaguely remember the picture, and he
Right.
looks like a generic white dude, and that was who he was. He was a generic white dude.
Pretty much.
So, obviously, they're saving that mostly for next episode or beyond. Even they're building that up.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have Miss Martian yet. We don't have Maggie Sawyer yet, but we'll get to those
Jesus, I
things.
forgot these were coming.
Yeah, we've got all these things to come.
Oh man, it's been a while since they've announced all this,
Yeah.
so I was like, I kind of forgot, and then they give us quite a lot in this episode. It's like, oh yeah, there's still all this to come.
Bit at a time. Bit at a time.
Yeah.
Don't want to blow our loads in the first episode. Now, let's get to the one main complaint, although it's kind of a weird happy complaint in an odd sense. So, the worst thing about the show last year was Jimmy and Kara's relationship.
Yeah.
And they finally kissed in the season finale, and you're like, oh, we need to do this. They're going to be a couple for a while, then break up.
We were expecting like half a season, maybe a full season.
Maybe a full season where they only break up at the end of the season, yeah. Because that's typically how these things go. And instead, by the end of the first episode, she's like, I don't really feel the same way.
It felt a little bit like CW putting the slate clean.
It did. Even the fact that the title had a slightly different color scheme to it, and I will say this actually, the opening intro, my name is Kara, I'm from Krypton,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. That was a little bit different, and I felt like it was a little bit overlong this time. Like the new one's a wee bit.
No, I don't think that's the permanent one going forward.
You don't
I
know?
honestly, no, I think it's just because they know it's moved network. They know they've picked up new people now. It's part of this shared universe. They're catching people up. I was fully expecting it to be longer, actually.
That's fair, but I think that's why it's murky for me, is that it doesn't feel long enough that it feels like a one-time.
Yeah.
Like, I would have much rather they just done the normal one and then went previously on Supergirl and give us.
Yeah, maybe. I honestly don't think it'll be that long. Maybe for a few weeks until people are kind of settled in, but
We'll see. But I just thought there was parts of it though that I thought where she'd rephrased. Well, I say she's if she's the one writing it, but you know what I mean. Like the dialogue or the monologue was rephrased in a more awkward way. Like when she mentions that she got here and Superman was already an adult, I felt like that was much more concise in the original intro. Whereas here it felt a bit clunky and like the music kind of covered part of one of the words, and I don't know.
like, I really think it is just a catch-up thing for people who didn't watch it.
No, that's all fine. But yeah, so Jimmy, by the end of this episode, they settle on just being friends, and I don't even feel like they're going to tease it out more. I feel like they are just saying, "No, we're done with this."
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad because it's like, ugh.
I am glad. Don't get me wrong. This was rushed, and it felt rushed. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad we're kind of over it, and we can just move on. So, like I say, it's a happy complaint because it.
Yeah.
So their scenes were definitely the worst, except the one where he brings pizza, because her excitement of the pizza was adorable.
It almost makes up for the lack of donuts.
It does. But I like the idea that she's given a choice for date and she's happy to go with pizza at home. Like,
yeah.
That right
and
there.
watching the launch of the shuttle thing.
Yeah, pizza at home and donuts. This girl is like just, she's the dream, folks. Yeah. She's the dream.
Pretty much.
Forget the super strength and the flying. She wants to stay home, eat pizza and donuts. Go on.
Did that classic speedster thing, changing the outfits.
Oh, yeah, that was fun, yeah. I enjoyed that. I always enjoy that.
It's always fun. I just thought I'd mention it.
It's always good. So Kat, of course, there's a little hint that she's not satisfied with her current predicament, and this is obviously just going to set up the fact that she can't be a regular anymore.
Yeah.
She'll want to go and work out on site or something, or...
Yeah, she wants to do some out in the field stuff, probably.
Maybe she'll go back to Metropolis with Clark and just visit, because she'll still own the company, of course, but she'll...
I think I can see her going further. I can see her going to a different country entirely and doing stuff out there.
Maybe. Or maybe she'll go to Gotham because she's like, oh, there's a Batgirl now? Oh, I better go and...
that'll be one hell of a tease.
Get my claws into that. Nah, right, I've recovered everything. I feel like I've went so scattershot in this episode.
The ending.
The end, yes, Metallo, yes.
Yeah.
It's funny because we didn't hear that guy's name, like, all episode.
Yeah, we did. We knew it was Corbin.
Did we?
Yeah, they said John Corbin like 4 times.
Did they? Okay, I'd forgotten they mentioned his name.
They even had it up on the screen at one point.
Okay, I was excited, people. Okay, I was excited. Leave me alone. But at the end, when the scientist women call him Corbin, I was like, oh, Corbin. Oh, that's So clearly,
I did that like 20 minutes into the episode.
I never noticed his name before, but she said Corbin. I'm like, wait a minute, that's.
You know that scene where he's on the comms and he's like, "No, I've never failed the Luthors before."
Mm-hmm.
And the implication there is you're supposed to think, "Oh, it's Lena that's hired him," because that's what they're playing with at that point. I figured it out then that it was Lex, obviously. That was a giveaway. But they said his name in that scene.
Aye. Although, that's a good point, actually, now that we've mentioned that. Obviously, Metallo coming, cool, something for her to fight. I'm cool.
Also, I like that it's Cadmus.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So that's all cool stuff. But you mentioned something there that I want to actually go into a bit more. Lex is the one pulling the strings behind something that's happening on this show. That's kind of exciting. Yeah, isn't it? Like, I mean, we may see Lex at some point, we might not, but even if we don't, the idea that he's actually the cause of things that are directly happening is kind of cool.
And Corbin even says, "Oh, he's got plenty of pull even from in prison." So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's like a tease. Like, oh, sure, he can do this, but what else can he do?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is exciting stuff. I'm really, really pumped for that kind of thing. So that's cool. One other thing we should mention is that Superman and Jean have a bit of a rift at the moment.
Yep. I think we kind of got a hint of this last season actually, because we knew why Superman wasn't working with them.
Did we get that last season?
Yeah, I'm sure this. I'm sure they mentioned the kryptonite thing was why he wasn't working with them.
Oh, I don't remember that, but you're probably right.
Hmm.
You're probably right. But so that whole comes up, and it's funny because when they have that conversation, and Superman's like, as long as you've got kryptonite, I'm never working with you, and Jean's like, well, yeah, but I wouldn't use it to hurt your sister or your cousin. That's not what it's there for. There's other Kryptonians, and he brings up a valid point. And all I could think during this whole scene is like, this is a Superman who's not had to put up with Batman yet.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all I could think, because in the comics, Batman not only keeps some kryptonite around in case Superman has to be dealt with, he even convinces Superman that it's a good idea.
yeah.
So hopefully Clark learns that lesson at some point.
I'd like to see John be the one who kind of teaches him that lesson, and they can have that sort of relationship.
Yeah, that'd be good. For example, all he has to do is like, last season when there was red kryptonite and we had to take down Kara, kind of needed
Yeah.
it.
So I can see them doing at one point this season. I can see Superman being affected by something, and they have to use it on him.
And that's when
And
he'll see
that's
why
when he'll
it's,
be like, okay, I can see why. Yeah.
Even because one of the things I always loved about Batman's argument in the comics, I can't remember the exact line of dialogue, but he always said, "Can you become mentally ill? Can you get dementia?" And then he's like, "You don't know. No one knows if you can get those things.
Yeah.
And what happens to the planet if you do? If you
Yeah.
become
Forget who you are.
Yeah, so all those kind of ideas. But yeah, obviously the more exaggerated version is to actually be affected by red kryptonite or something and go on a rampage.
Yeah.
But
I can see them doing it just to have that rift healed.
yeah, assuming they don't kill him off,
Assuming that, yeah.
which is a possibility. Also, another possibility is if they do merge the universes with the Arrowverse, I can see Superman being left behind in whatever universe is left, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Should be a shame.
Which would be a shame because he's pretty good, and I would like the idea that for some of the big crossovers, if Superman could show up as well, if the thing's that big of a deal, Kara can be like, look, I've got someone else.
But you get that he can't be there forever because he'll overshadow them.
No, exactly. That's why he can't be there forever. But I'm glad that they stopped avoiding it because I feel like avoiding it is kind of like, oh, we can only have a strong woman if we avoid the men that are seen as strong. We have to eliminate them to be seen as strong. Whereas having them stand there side by side makes them feel more equal.
It's obviously we've spent a lot of this talking about Superman because he's new, but this still very much felt like Supergirl's show.
Oh, yeah,
like
of
she
course.
was the one that was the focus. She was in charge. It's just that he's the new exciting thing.
Yeah, and she had the arc. He didn't have an arc in this episode.
No.
She learned something about herself and she made a decision. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's episode 1 of Supergirl season 2. Oh,
Just
sorry.
real quickly, the music. I love the new Superman theme.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I love how it plays off the alternate intro for the John Williams score. I don't know if you've heard it.
The original version that wasn't used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It plays off the opening of that alternate version. That's what it's based on by the sounds of it, and I thought that was really cool.
No, music's good. It's nice to hear them sort of again. The themes sort of intermingle. I can't wait till we get another Flash crossover so we can get the world's finest theme.
Do you know what? So it's only a couple of months.
Yeah, a longer version of it as well, because the soundtracks for Supergirl and the Flash came out over the break, and that track from that episode, that crossover episode, there's such a good bit of music, but just as it starts to get going, as it starts to kick in, it ends, and I'm like,
I know.
damn you, Blake Neely, damn you to hell.
I can't wait to have that and the Legends theme in as well. I mean, I don't really care about the Arrow theme as much, but I really like the Legends theme.
Yeah, the Legends team's quite good. Yeah.
So that all mixed together, that should be good.
Yeah, that should be fun. And the thing is, you can probably just easily mix Arrows into it anyway, because Arrow's more of just
Just a
like
bit of a noise. Yeah.
it's like a sting. It's like I'm not going to do it, but it's like...
Well, I mean, there's a bit of a melody as well, but it's very stabby and
Yeah, but you could
short.
literally just take that one stabby noise at the start of it and just that could be your arrow contribution to the theme.
Yeah, good.
Because you'd recognise it'd fit in, and then you wouldn't need anything else.
Let's hope the arrow addition to the crossover is as minimal.
I hope. Anyway, guys, that is Supergirl Season 2, Episode 1. We will be back next week, of course, with more Superman and possibly some Mon-El in a speaking role and not just comatose. And we'll see you then. So like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments. And yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.